The law, in its majesty, must be blind to emotion, yet it is shaped by the society it serves. John Dorney, The Irish Story, 2013.
In 1954, Ireland was a nation grappling with its identity, caught between the remnants of British influence and the desire for a distinct, modern justice system. Michael Manning, a 25-year-old laborer from Limerick, became the center of a tragic and historic case. Convicted of the murder of Katherine Cooper, a 65-year-old nurse, Manning's crime was brutal and senseless. Under the influence of alcohol, he attacked Cooper, leaving her lifeless in a field. The evidence was overwhelming, and the jury returned a guilty verdict. Despite pleas for clemency, the Irish government upheld the death sentence. Manning's case was not just about one man's crime. It symbolized the nation's struggle with the morality of capital punishment. The execution was scheduled for April 20th, 1954, at Mountjoy Prison in Dublin. Manning's fate was sealed, but his story would resonate far beyond the prison walls.
Justice is not only about punishment, but about the values a society chooses to uphold. Dermot Fairwriter, The Transformation of Ireland, 2004.
The victims of crime are often forgotten in the shadow of the perpetrator's story. Helen Prejean, Dead Man Walking, 1993.
Katherine Cooper was a 65-year-old nurse, known for her dedication to her patients and her quiet, unassuming life. On the night of her murder, she was walking home when she encountered Michael Manning. What followed was a senseless act of violence that shocked the nation. Cooper's death was not just a personal tragedy, but a reflection of the vulnerabilities faced by women in mid-20th century Ireland. Her story was overshadowed by the drama of Manning's trial and execution, but her life deserves to be remembered. She was more than a victim. She was a symbol of the lives lost to violence and the need for justice to protect the innocent. As the nation mourned her death, the question lingered. Could her murder have been prevented? And was the death penalty the right response to such a crime?
Every victim has a story, and every story deserves to be told. Brian Stevenson, Just Mercy, 2014.
Pierre Point was a man of precision, a craftsman in a grim trade. Steve Fielding, Pierre Point, A Family of Executioners, 2006.
Albert Pierre Point, Britain's most renowned executioner, was summoned to carry out Michael Manning's sentence. Known for his efficiency and professionalism, Pierre Point had executed hundreds of individuals, including war criminals and notorious murderers. To him, the act of hanging was a precise and calculated procedure, devoid of personal judgment. Pierre Point's presence in Dublin was a stark reminder of Ireland's colonial past. Though the Irish Free State had gained independence decades earlier, the use of a British hangman highlighted the lingering ties to Britain's justice system. For Pierre Point, Manning's execution was just another job. For Ireland, it was a moment of reckoning. As the sun rose on April 20th, 1954, Pierre Point prepared for the task ahead. Manning's final moments were marked by solemnity and ritual, a stark contrast to the violence of his crime. The execution was swift, but its impact would linger for decades, fueling debates about the morality and necessity of capital punishment.
The hangman's noose is a symbol of justice for some and of barbarity for others. Clive Stafford Smith, Injustice, 2012.
In the shadow of death, a man's true character is revealed. Victor Hugo, Les Miserables, 1862.
In the hours before his execution, Michael Manning faced the reality of his fate. Confined to his cell in Mountjoy Prison, he was visited by a Catholic priest who administered the last rites. Manning, a man who had lived a troubled life, appeared calm in his final moments. He expressed remorse for his actions and prayed for forgiveness. The prison was silent, save for the faint echo of footsteps in the corridors. Outside, the city of Dublin carried on, unaware of the life about to be taken within the prison walls. Manning's final meal was simple, a stark contrast to the gravity of the occasion. At dawn, he was led to the gallows by Albert Pierrepoint. The execution was swift, lasting only seconds, but its weight would be felt for decades. Manning's death was not just the end of a life, but the beginning of a national conversation about justice, morality, and the role of the state in taking a life.
The dignity of a man is often revealed in his darkest hour. Alexander Solzhenitsyn, The Gulag Archipelago, 1973.
Public opinion is the invisible hand that shapes the law. Alexis de Tocqueville, Democracy in America, 1835.
The news of Michael Manning's execution spread quickly across Ireland. For some, it was a necessary act of justice, a punishment befitting the crime. For others, it was a grim reminder of the state's power to take a life. The public reaction was divided, reflecting the broader societal debate about capital punishment. In the days following the execution, letters to newspapers revealed the complexity of public opinion. Some argued that Manning's death was a deterrent to future crimes, while others questioned whether the state had the moral authority to kill. The Catholic Church, a powerful institution in Ireland, remained largely silent, though individual clergy members expressed discomfort with the death penalty. The execution also sparked protests from human rights advocates, who called for the abolition of capital punishment. Manning's case became a rallying point for those who believed that justice should be tempered with mercy.
The measure of a society is how it treats its most vulnerable, even those who have done wrong. Bryan Stevenson, Just Mercy, 2014.
Step into the past and uncover the heart of Ireland. At Emerald Chronicle, we bring you hundreds of captivating documentaries exploring Irish history, myths, legends, and folklore. Our playlists guide you through Ireland's fascinating journey, from prehistoric Ireland, proto-historic and Celtic eras, and the early Christian and Viking periods, to the Anglo-Irish invasion and the lordship of Ireland.
Delve deeper into the Tudor conquest and religious conflicts, the union with Great Britain and the Great Famine, the fight for independence and the divisions of the 20th century, and Ireland's evolution into the 21st century. Best of all, we keep all our documentaries at 15 minutes or less, making it easy to explore Ireland's history, even on a busy day.
Every time you watch, you're supporting the upkeep of our channel. And when you share Emerald Chronicle, you're helping to promote Irish history and culture worldwide. We kindly ask you to like and share, and subscribe to Emerald Chronicle now. Let's keep Ireland's stories alive together. The death penalty is a relic of a more brutal past. Amnesty International, Abolition of the Death Penalty Report, 2003.
Michael Manning's execution was the last in Ireland, but why? The answer lies in the shifting attitudes of the Irish people and their leaders. By the mid-20th century, the death penalty was increasingly seen as an outdated and inhumane form of punishment. Manning's case, with its tragic circumstances and the finality of his death, forced the nation to confront the morality of capital punishment. In the years following his execution, no further death sentences were carried out. The Irish government began commuting death sentences to life imprisonment, signaling a move away from the practice. By 1990, the death penalty was formally abolished for ordinary crimes, and in 2002, the 21st Amendment to the Constitution ended it for all crimes, including treason. Manning's execution was a turning point, a moment when Ireland began to redefine its justice system. It marked the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in the nation's history.
The abolition of the death penalty is a sign of a society's progress toward justice and humanity. Kofi Annan, United Nations Address, 1998.
Faith and justice are often intertwined, but they do not always align. Karen Armstrong, The Case for God, 2009.
In 1954, Ireland was a deeply religious country, with the Catholic Church wielding significant influence over public and political life. The Church's teachings on forgiveness and the sanctity of life clashed with the state's use of capital punishment. Yet, the Church's response to Manning's execution was muted, reflecting the complexity of the issue. Some clergy members spoke out against the death penalty, arguing that it was incompatible with Christian values. Others remained silent, perhaps unwilling to challenge the state's authority. For many ordinary Irish citizens, their faith shaped their views on the morality of taking a life. Even in the name of justice, the debate over capital punishment revealed the tension between Ireland's religious identity and its evolving legal system. Manning's case forced the nation to grapple with difficult questions. Could a society rooted in Christian values justify the death penalty? And if not, what alternative forms of justice could be pursued?
True justice is not about retribution but about redemption. Desmond Tutu, No Future Without Forgiveness, 1999.
Laws are not static. They evolve with the conscience of a nation. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Speech at the American Constitution Society, 2004.
Michael Manning's execution was a catalyst for change in Ireland's legal system. In the decades that followed, the nation began to move away from punitive justice and toward a system focused on rehabilitation and human rights. The abolition of the death penalty was a key milestone in this transformation. In 1990, Ireland formally abolished the death penalty for ordinary crimes, reflecting the growing consensus that capital punishment was incompatible with a modern, humane society. The 21st Amendment to the Constitution, passed in 2002, extended this abolition to all crimes, including treason. Manning's case became a symbol of the need for reform. It reminded lawmakers and citizens alike of the irreversible nature of the death penalty and the importance of ensuring that justice is fair, compassionate, and forward-looking.
The law must be a reflection of our highest ideals, not our darkest impulses. Barack Obama, Speech on Criminal Justice Reform, 2015. A nation's justice system reveals its soul. Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, 1994.
The story of Michael Manning is not just about one man or one crime. It is about Ireland's journey toward justice and humanity. His execution, the last in the nation's history, marked a turning point in how Ireland viewed itself and its values. The abolition of the death penalty was more than a legal reform. It was a statement about the kind of society Ireland aspired to be. It reflected a commitment to human rights, compassion, and the belief that justice should be about more than punishment. Manning's case remains a powerful reminder of the importance of learning from the past. It challenges us to reflect on the values that define us as a nation and as individuals.
The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Martin Luther King Jr., Speech at the National Cathedral, 1968.
History is not just about the past. It is about the choices we make for the future. Mary Beard, SPQR, A History of Ancient Rome, 2015.
Michael Manning's story is a reminder of the power of change. His execution, the last in Ireland, forced the nation to confront difficult questions about justice, morality, and the value of human life. Today, Ireland stands as a testament to the progress that can be achieved when a society chooses compassion over retribution. The abolition of the death penalty was not just a legal milestone. It was a reflection of Ireland's evolving identity. It showed that justice is not static, but a living, breathing concept that must adapt to the values of the time. As we look to the future, Manning's case challenges us to continue striving for a more just and humane world. It reminds us that the choices we make today will shape the legacy we leave for future generations.
The measure of a society is how it treats its most vulnerable. Mahatma Gandhi, Collected Works, 1958.